Is Xavi Hernandez already trying to test out some new things? Well, in this video, we're going to take a look at all of that. Subscribe to the channel as always, guys. We have a lot to dive into. And what about these two guys, Ter Stegen and Ronald Araujo? I mean, this is the kind of mistakes you make when you know you don't have any competition. I mean, that was just silly from Araujo. And Ter Stegen, I mean, come on. At this level, you are fighting for second place. Your team has so much to play for. But we're going to dive into all of that, but let's get right into the video. Like we all know, in the build-up phase, Barcelona would split their centre-backs and Andreas and Gundogan would come back as a double pivot. You saw López on the other side, Rafinha inverting, and of course, you saw Cancelo forward. But Valencia didn't particularly press high in this case. They would sit off and allow Barcelona to come through the first phase of build-up, right? And the moment that Ter Stegen would come out and pass the ball, you saw that they would spring into life. But luckily, Cubarsí was wide enough to allow Barcelona to have this back four, which would outnumber, and passes back could easily be done. And we all know that the space that Kunde usually find just in behind this player right here, and that would allow Barcelona to get a pitch. But towards the right side of the pitch, Ter Stegen liked to switch the ball over to Jules Koundé, and then you saw Lamine Yamal coming onto the ball, where you would see López running ahead of him, because Lamine would often draw this player out. Exactly, most of the time they would do that, and Barcelona could find a way and then get up the pitch. Another way Barcelona tried to maneuver this was Lamine stays wide, and then it was actually López that could run towards the ball and therefore draw the player out, and he could receive it. But luckily, this player was very disciplined and he would go and cover Lamine. So unfortunately, this didn't work, because imagine if we could get Lamine in this space and then run in here. It would be a disaster for the opponents. High up the pitch, I actually saw something that gave me a hint that Xavi, if he finds a pivot, Barcelona is going to be extraordinary, right? Because you saw that Andreas Christensen was going extremely high out, with Fermin coming more closer to Robert Lewandowski. And Gundogan also went over to the other side to draw these players, of course, as we know by now, to one side, And you saw that they had this kind of triangle diamond going on in this instance. If Barcelona is going to get a pivot, the Christensen position right here, that's going to be Gundogan, and then you're going to have Barcelona's pivot right here. However, you did see that Fermin was very intelligent, and he actually, when this happened, he took up a deeper space in order to balance things out, to have Barcelona be able to defend the counter-attack if it arises. But I think it's time that we should start having the discussion of starting López ahead of Frenkie de Jong and Pedri, even though they're fit. I think he has a more clearer role, and you know more what he's there for in the team. The runs that he makes and those headers that he can score. He has a more clear role in the team than the other two. So what do you think? Let me know down in the comment section. Should he start ahead of them? Because Valencia was pressing with a front two, Xavi thought that it was unnecessary for them to have a double pivot. So Andreas and Gundogan would make turns to go up high and help with the build-up a little bit higher up the pitch. When the ball distribution would come, Barcelona did really well to get them all to one side, right? And Andreas and Gundogan would all help with this, Rafinha and Lewandowski as well. But here's the deal. When the ball would get circulated back to Pau Cubarsí, Cancelo slightly had a staggered position. And this is where the change came in. And I'm really excited about this. Look at this. Rafinha would then make a run ahead, draw this player back. But instead of Cancelo passing back to Cubarsí, he would lay the ball off to Ilkay Gundogan. Now, because the ball already moved, this player now is away from Rafinha, and Rafinha making the run ahead is already in this space. then he would cut inside, and then Cancelo would make an overlap third man run. Really excited about seeing that. This is the change that made me really exciting, and I touched on this a little bit earlier on. Barcelona kind of like had a 3-1-3-3 situation, right? You saw Gundogan alone and Andreas going high up the pitch. This solves so many problems because I think Xavi doesn't want to do the 2-3-5. With the one player going up high, and remember, like I said, this is going to be Gundogan eventually, right? And this player right here, that's going to be the pivot, is going to be the summer signing that Barcelona will have. This is going to allow these players to be wide. Look at how many problems this solves. You have this vertical pass now. You automatically have the triangle as well. You have a player close to Lewandowski. Lewandowski doesn't have to drop anymore. You can pull back the back line. And I would imagine this player is going to have a free role. And I hope these players are going to be really, how can I say now, it's going to be fluid, right? You're going to have a triangle on the right side. It's kind of like pulling them apart while at the same time forcing them to remain narrow. So this ball circulation is just going to be so much better in this way for Barcelona. Triangles and diamonds everywhere. So this is a genius move. So we're probably going to see the 3-1-3-3 situation more. The genius about this shape for me is really going to be, I'm excited to see the overload to isolate, because you know when Lamine come in this space to receive the ball, right? Then some of the players will follow him, and then Firmino will go into that space there, right? But then Christensen is the one who can come into this space. Of course, I think in the future it's going to be somebody different, maybe Gundogan when we have another pivot actually. Then we have numbers. We have numbers, right? And many times when Christensen did move in this game, for example, that opened up the path to Lewandowski, right? And because Rafinha is so high, when this player follows him, the space didn't come in. And I'm excited to see these guys with a single pivot and then 3 attacking midfielders. We will be able to move the opposition around so much. And if anybody says that Xavi do not have tactics, just simply give them a link to this video or to this channel and make them come and watch here. That man is going to get better and better and better. We just need to have everything at his disposal, because you can see for yourself the tactics. Do let me know down below if you guys would like to see a part 2. Some of you guys don't like the longer analysis, some of you do. I don't know how you guys are feeling, but let me know. Comment part 2 down below if you want to see more on this game, because there's so much more to dive into. And also, do you guys like the way I'm using the video instead of pictures to do the analysis? We kind of have to avoid copyright in the sense, but I'm trying to keep the channel fresh. As always, do subscribe to the channel. It's going to help us a lot to get the family to grow. Thank you for your undying love and support. Thank you very much. Goodbye.